Hi, I am Dr. Khurrum Shaukat Yusafzai. Today's video is about 400 years old mosque belonging to the Mughal Empire, which existed between 1550 and 1857 before the British arrived. So in Peshawar, in the village of Bala, which is right next to Nasir Bagh and beyond the Agriculture University, this Palosai village, there is an old missionary road which used to go towards Khyber Agency, and on that old missionary road is the tomb of Sheikh Imamuddin, who was born in 1620 and he died in 1660. According to his family tree, he was the grandson of Akhund Darweza, who was a Tajik Abdul Rashid Baba who came from Afghanistan, and he is buried in Hazar Khwani, Peshawar, in the Akhund Khel area, which is also known as Shahji Ki Dera, from where the old Buddhist stupa and Rahman Baba tomb or shrine is also there, and the Wazir Bagh is also nearby. Sheikh Imamuddin was the son of Taj Bibi, daughter of Akhund Darweza, and she was married into the prominent Khalil family of Sardars of the Khalind Momand tribe, who are Ahmadzi branch of Yusafzai. This old missionary road since was going to Khyber Agency, where the Shinwari, and in the Momand Agency where the Momands were actually very close to another Pir by name of Pir Roshan or Rohan, the Roshnai movement or the Illuminati movement, which was responsible for spreading the education or illuminated thought. Since Mughals were Uzbek Tajik in ethnicity and the Pashtuns were Afghan Pashtuns, the same composition existed in Afghanistan. So the Mughals, when they captured the Indian subcontinent, the government from the Pashtun, Sher Shah Suris and Ibrahim Lodis, they had to actually bring something to counter the Pashtun power in the Indian subcontinent. So most of the peers who had came before the Mughals were brought in by the Pashtuns, and they had come from Afghanistan. So they brought their own peers to spread influence among the Muslims of this area. And since the Yusafzais were against the Mughals, because the Mughal had brought in a mixture of religion called Deen-e-Ilahi, which had mixed all the Islam and the Hinduism and the all previous religion into one, and that had infuriated the Pashtuns, who had originally brought Islam across the Hindu Kush from Afghanistan, from west to east. Since the Pashtuns were fighting against the Mughals, and the fighting had started from the time of the King Akbar in 1550s to 1650s. So this was the time when Sheikh Imamuddin came to this place. He was responsible for influencing the tribes of Khyber district and also the Momand district. The Momand districts were the Ahmadzis, Yusafzais, and the Khyber district, the Shinwaris and Afridis, were following the Roshnai or Pir Roshan movement, who was actually had a strong place in the Tira Valley. So this was strategically important place where Akhund Darwaza sent his grandson Sheikh Imamuddin. In this complex where his tomb is, there are actually three structures. One is this mosque, and then this small tomb. Some people say it belongs to his wife, but no recorded history exists of who is buried in this small tomb. And the big tomb contains the four or five graves. The middle one is kacha, or not built grave of Sheikh Imamuddin. The small tomb is in a dilapidated position, and it has a door recently installed so that people cannot go in. Before, there was no door, and people used to go and inside. Now it is locked. As you can see, the construction of this small tomb is done by small baked red bricks with limestone in the middle to cement them, as there was no cement at that time. So the Mughal construction was basically based on these thin bricks, baked in fire in a kiln, and they used to be joined together with limestone. So the look of the limestone is a bit white or pale yellow in complexion, and it is about time that these magnificent cultural icons should be restored by the government of Pakhtunkhwa, and the archaeological department should be shifted to the Pakhtunkhwa government, as it is not shifted yet from the federal government, which gives no importance to these gemstones of archaeology, since it has historical significance. And not many people know in Peshawar that these structures are 20 years older than Masjid Mohabbat Khan. The Mohabbat Khan Mosque is made 20 years after these, because these structures were made in the 1650 AD. The area around it is agriculture, and there is no way linking this to the road. But according to my research, there was a beautiful garden all around this tomb and shrine, as shown by the red rectangle. And because of this beautiful garden, it would provide peace and tranquility to the people. And some trees exist even now, but the boundaries of that garden does not exist. The big tomb of Sheikh Imamuddin is made on a raised platform, it's about 5 feet to 5.5 feet above the ground, and this beautiful structure with the typical Mughal arches stands on it, and there are doors and also ventilators, and there is also stairs leading to the top dome. According to my research, there was a wall around it which has now disappeared, and in the corners there used to be a sort of beautiful structure which is now totally gone. If you look at this tomb, you would recall it's typical Mughal architecture found in the Shalimar Gardens in Lahore, and also in many mosques like the Tata Mosque in Sindh, Karachi, near it's a few kilometers from Karachi. So this has the same design, and according to research, the artisans or the architects were brought in from Lahore to build this magnificent tomb. Typical Islamic architecture which is found in the Uzbek area of Bukhara, Samarkand, was brought in here by the Mughals, who belonged to Bukhara and Samarkand. As you may know, that before 1890s, Bukhara and Samarkand was actually part of Afghanistan, and after the Panjshir incident, they were separated into Uzbekistan and Afghanistan due to the Tsar's Russian invasion into Afghanistan in the Great Game. In the raised platform, there are actually doors on each side, and inside if you go inside the doors, there are actually rooms. These rooms are, some people say they are guest rooms, some say they were rooms used for the guards, or maybe this building was having some military significance, and maybe Sheikh Imamuddin was buried in it into later, but many people say that they are actually guest rooms for people who used to come, and there used to be an urs at this shrine, so it's more like a shrine than a tomb, and people used to come here and do rituals and sing qawwali, the religious songs which were brought into the Indian subcontinent from Afghanistan by the Sufi saints to spread Islam. And the last urs actually happened over here 20 years ago, and that is the last time it happened 25 years ago. And now, because of the influence of the Deobandi movement, and because of the government patronage to the Deoband Wahhabist philosophy, the charm of the Sufi saints is being disappeared in Pakistan because of the political Islam related to the Saudi monarchy, who is responsible to spread it by the madrasas in Pakistan. So the significance of the Barelvi and the Sufi Islam, which was the Islam that came into the subcontinent. In 1947, only 4% of people were following the Wahhabist Deobandi ideology, but now this has spread to almost 70-80% in Pakistan. There is a door, as you saw, that you can enter the raised platform, and it goes into a tunnel sort of structure, and at the end of the tunnel you can see the opening towards the graves. And while you enter that tunnel, on the left side there is a door which is actually to the room. There's a room on the left side, and there is a room on the right side in the beginning of the tunnel. And the purpose for this is unknown. Maybe when there was urs and a lot of things happening, maybe they were used for the people who used to manage the shrine, but now they are completely abandoned. And one of the room on the right opens to another room actually, and it was pretty dark and in dilapidated position, and you can see the bricks and the the limestone covering on top of it coming off, which is unfortunate, as this treasure of history should be preserved. And people know about Masjid Mahabad Khan, built in 1670, but not about this mosque, which is actually older than the Mahabad Khan Mosque. And Sheikh Imamuddin was actually a saint who used to sit on a stone in the middle of river, as I have shown you in the map. There was a river flowing from the Kabul River, which is coming from Afghanistan towards Peshawar. Actually, the Kabul River is fed by the river Swat and Bajwar from the northern Pakistan. When the glaciers melt, they come down, and then at the Bajwar area they go towards Nangarhar province of Afghanistan, and then they come back again and form the Kabul River. So a tributary of Kabul River is actually right next to this tomb, and Sheikh Imamuddin used to sit on a stone and do his Sufi meditation, and that's why he was called Sheikh Pir Bala. Pir Bala means somebody who sits on a top of a raised area. So that's why this shrine is also known as Pir Bala Shrine. Inside, you can see the beautiful Mughal architecture, the beautiful types of Mughal windows, which are typical, and the the situation of this beautiful architectural wonderful work, same as you can see in Shalimar Gardens, the Red Fort, or maybe the different forts on the GT road, the Sher Shah Suri road, from starting from Kabul to Lahore to Agra to Delhi, and then further going up to Bangladesh. Many forts were erected during the 1500 2000 year era, when the Muslims ruled over the Indian subcontinent, which had Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh as one country known as Indian subcontinent. The floral designs are very beautiful, and restoration was actually done sometimes before, but now in 2020 no restoration is being performed, and I'm afraid that the time would wash away this wonderful artwork. Which is very unfortunate. The grandfather of Sheikh Imamuddin Akhund Darweza wrote the second book of Pashto in the recorded history. The first book was actually written by Pir Roshan, his opponent. Pir Roshan actually also came with the Pashto alphabets, and he invented extra 13 alphabets and joined it with the Persian script to form the current Pashto script, which is the history of the Pashtuns. And as before Pir Roshan and Pir Akhund Darweza, the Pashto would be written in some another script, ancient Bactrian Gandhara script. But after 1600 and like in 17th century, they changed the script to the current Persian script with some 13 extra letters invented by Pir Roshan, his opponent. And then in competition, Akhund Darweza also wrote a Pashto book, and Sheikh Imamuddin was his grandson, married into the family of Khalil Momands Ahmadzis. This is the grave of Sheikh Imamuddin, and it is not made permanent. So this raises a question: maybe he's buried later on, or maybe they just built the tomb around it. But these questions the researchers would answer. The father of Sheikh Imamuddin was Sheikh Kabir. He was the Sardars of the Momand, Khalil Momand, living here and nearby Sheikhanu Kili, because Sheikhan is the name given to the holy men. And Sheikh Kabir's great grandfather was Sheikh Umar, who actually started the Khalil tribe. So of course he was influential because of his family, and also because of his piety, and also his Islamic teachings. And he was Sheikh Akhund Darweza and Sheikh Imamuddin were able to eliminate the Roshnaya movement of Pir Roshan, and they used to oppose him. And since they were very close to the Mughal Empire, because Mughal Empire was Uzbek Tajik Empire, like Mughal is actually Indian deformed word for Mongol. So they were like Turkic Mongols from Central Asia, coming from Uzbekistan, Fargana Valley, but they obtained real power in Afghanistan, where the people started following them, considering them to be great grandson of Genghis Khan and Amir Temur. So that's how the Babur founded the Mughal Empire, and then his son Humayun. But they were defeated by the Pashtuns, who were ruling in strength in Indian subcontinent by Ibrahim Lodi and Shirsa Suri. So they were pushed back to Afghanistan. Later on, his son Akbar in 1580s was really becoming powerful. So between 1580s and 1650, this was the time when Sheikh Imamuddin and these peers were helping the Mughal Empire to reduce the resistance from the Pashtuns, because the Pashtuns were resisting the Dini Ilahi, which was like a a false religion made by the Mughals under influence of the Hindu wives they had married, like the wife of Akbar, Jodha Akbar, and also the wives of his son and grandsons were Hindus, Rajput of India. So they came up with this Deen-e-Ilahi. Majid Mahabat Khan is named after the Mughal governor Mahabat Khan, who was the son of Ali Mardan. Ali Mardan was the chief architect who made Shalimar Bagh and also the Bagh in Peshawar, known as Kamni Bagh in front of CMH. So he might have been responsible beyond this construction. Mahabad Ali Khan, father Ali Mardan, and Ali Mardan's father was Ganj Ali Shah, who was the governor of Kandahar under the Iranian Shah Qajar empire, but in 1600s they had actually defected to the Mughals and they were given high positions, and one of their family member was Noor Jahan, the wife of the kings of Shah Jahan, king of India. And this Peshawar area was under the province of Kabul. So there was a Kabul province or Afghania province, there was a Kashmir province, and there was a Multan province and a Lahore province. So this Kabul and Lahore was given to this family. Mahabat Khan's family and Ali Mardan family used to govern. Ali Mardan is buried in Lahore, and Mahabat Khan is buried here in Peshawar, his son. So there is a mosque nearby, and this mosque is built in 1652, 20 years before the Mahabat Khan, and it's beautiful. There is a Mughal era boundary and the floors with the original 400-year-old construction, and there are 3 arches. The middle one is higher, and this arches is typical, reminding that of architecture in the Red Fort in Delhi, or the Lahore fort, or the mosque, the Badshahi or the King's Mosque in Lahore, or the Wazir Khan Mosque. It's actually very, very similar. And if you go inside, you can see the arches and the dome structure to amplify the sound of the Muezzin giving azan. And the beautiful work inside the domes reminds of the Mughal architecture with the floral trees, and maybe there was mirrors, small ones, to reflect the light during the night, as in Sheesh Mahal. But now I think the time has washed away so many things, and there is a dire need of the archaeology department of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to take notice of this and restore it, and also make a garden around it, and also give it access from the road, and make a boundary and protect this archaeological gold mine. And to abandon it is a crime, and this crime would not be forgotten by the coming generations. You can see the wear and tear of the time making dense. The trees reminds us of the beautiful garden and the peaceful locality, and this area gives you a special peace. When you go there, you feel peace and tranquility, and even now in 2020, and because of the nearby flowing tributary, I was actually lucky to have the turban given as token of respect by the people who was living nearby, and they were very sweet, and they made me dress in the traditional dress, wear the turban, and also give me a chadar, uh, which really made my day, and I had to do some catwalking. And it shows the hospitality which is legendary of the Pashtun people, and it is the tradition, and it was such an honor to be with these people and to get the love and affection, and they're doing a marvelous job of protecting this heritage, and I wish them well. And every tribe, like Pashtun tribe, turban is different. Like the Yusafzais wear a different style turban, the Afridis wear different, and Waziris wear different, and so on. That would be subject of my other video, but now I will concentrate and tell you about this wonderful mosque, and we should protect it and show it to the children. Bring the children from schools and tell them about history and about their forefathers and about their culture. And currently in Peshawar, I think very few people know about this mosque, and the total apathy by the government and the people is totally very sad and unfortunate. The beautiful view of the arches, if you stand at one corner, you can see they're perfectly aligned. The masonry and the work is very beautiful, legendary of the Mughal or the Mongol people, because the Chinese have a beautiful taste of art and architecture, which you will find it all over Central Asia and Asia. There were actually stands for the candles in the walls, where you can light it and it will illuminate the mosque. Even people who are living in Peshawar for years and years, they would not be aware of this mosque. And when I discovered it, I was totally, I did my research and brought you this wonderful video, and I hope you would subscribe to my channel for such wonderful, interesting archaeological landmarks in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and bring you amazing videos like this. So you need to subscribe my channel, and also follow it by pressing the bell icon to get updates. The mosque in Tata is also having similar architecture, built by the Mughals in the same era. Outside the mosque is a well with a hand pump installed with it, and you can have like pure cold water in the warm weather, which was really refreshing, and it reminded me how blessed we are to have good clean water in Peshawar, which is unfortunately disappearing in many parts of Pakistan. the trees and the garden was really wonderful. And to give this land of garden to agricultural is not a good idea by the government, as before in a few hundred years before this was a garden, and to give it to agricultural land is not a good idea because the land around it is also part of this monument. And to allow construction of houses and to use it for agriculture is totally not a good idea. So after having a cup of tea and receiving the love from these people, I really felt refreshed and totally charged my battery, and it was such a wonderful experience visiting this 400 years old mosque. So hope to see you again, and please like and subscribe my channel, and best wishes from Dr. Khurrum Shaukat Yusafzai.